It's Liliana the Magnificent, and welcome back to my city, Dukes of Honey. Today I am going to go in depth into how to create a 1.9 leveling thread. So I specifically want to reach out to Intellicus and Trident. Hopefully I said your name correctly. But he reached out wanting to know just how to get a 1.9 leveling thread started in Guild. And I will say this to him, and I'll also say this to anybody. I'm only playing in Brisgard, I don't know. I don't even know how to say my own world. But this is the only world that I'm in, but I'm absolutely willing to create a profile in any other domain and come in Guild if you want my help in starting a 1.9 leveling thread. I am all for that. Granted, I will have absolutely no great buildings, but I can give you my expertise that I have. So absolutely let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. You too, Intellicus, I will do that for you, hands down. I love it. I love Guilds. I love 1.9 threads. I think they're amazing. So absolutely. First things first is creating a message that goes out to all Guild members. So in order to create a thread that can access all Guild members, you have to be at least a Guild leader or a notifier. So I wanted to be able to show you guys how to find that. So we'll go into Guild profile. It looks a little bit different on mobile, but you're going to want to go to the member section where there are rights for everybody. And for instance, so you see here, this one has everybody, so they have all rights. So they can easily create a thread that can go out to everyone. If you are not a founder or a guild leader, you at least need to be this little envelope with 2 people, which is a notifier. That means you can send messages to all guild members. You can create a thread and add in everybody, but that is just an absolute hassle. So you at least want to have those 2 rights so you can easily create this thread. All right, so that's my first thing. Next, let's talk about how you label these threads and also how to create them. So I have the 1.85 leveling thread here. You'll see that we have labeled the actual thread name as that, along with parentheses, in 5 days and safe locks. I'll explain that in a second. Then we also have our 1.9 leveling thread, which same thing in parentheses, but in 2 days and safe locks. So what that means, if we go and we look at my arc real quick, let's go for a little travel. Oh, and we can collect it. Sorry about my city, you guys. I haven't collected it all day, and it's probably driving you nuts because it's driving me nuts seeing everything flashing, but we're just going to leave it there. So I have a level 90 arc. If we pop into overview, you'll see that my percentage back is a 91.1%. So I do make a small forge point return. Now a level 80 arc does not make any forge point return. So that's why in our 1.9 leveling thread, we have it as a 2-day time span. Because there is no forge point return, and also because often if you are using a 1.9 leveling thread, you are putting out some high amounts of forge points being asked of others. So like if we peek in my HC right now, the people that have taken my spot 1 and 2, they've put out, almost 2,000 forge points and then almost 1,000 forge points. So we want that turnover time to be very quick so they can A, get their forge points back, and B, they can reinvest them into somebody else's great building or maybe even into mine again. So that time span is only 2 days because we do not want the great buildings sitting. The 1.85 thread, though, on the other hand, is a longer time span. We have that one as a 5-day time span because there is that chance of forge point return coming back to you. The safe lock portion means specifically the self-donation amount. So if we pop over to my Great Building Calculator, I didn't have to do anything to post out my spot 1 and 2, but I did have to donate 167 in order to make this 3rd spot safe. Oh, hey, I must be on a different level. I am. Look at that. Okay, anyway. Realization. So you have to make sure these spots are safe. Yes, you can absolutely use a standard swap thread. So those are like these ones, the 30, the 50, the standard swap thread. What I tell my members though is if you are using the 1.9 or 1.85 leveling thread, I highly, highly, highly encourage them to just self-donate instead. It gets really wishy-washy when you start kind of using the standard swap threads to prep for your 1.9 or 1.85 leveling thread, because there's more math involved. You have to make sure that you're still making it safe so that whoever does take this 1 and 2, they're not going to get sniped from those people lower. There's also that chance that, somebody didn't see that they had posted their great building in the 1.9 leveling thread, and then they also put them in the standard thread. And here a person decided, oh, well, I'm going to put in, so let's say for instance, I had, 200 forge points in a standard thread. Well, I took those 200 forge points, but then I decided to take your 1.9 thread, and then I upped to 1,596. Well, suddenly as an owner, I've just lost 200 forge points, because that 200 you can easily get back in the 1.9 thread. So that person is actually getting a return back of 200, while as an owner, I've just lost 200 points. So be really mindful about that. I'd really encourage my members, just self-donate. It makes it a lot easier. I mean, look at me. I've got my HC. It's 3,093 points that you would have to put in a standard swap. I actually only had to self-donate 356, so it's a lot faster. So be mindful about that for safe locks. Let me peek at my notes one more time to see. I've already talked about the time span. Okay, rationale. Ooh, sorry. That was my pen, you guys. I hope that didn't scare you. If it did, I apologize. So rationale as to who is allowed in the threads. This is really a guild choice. Have a discussion with your leaders about what you want to do. In my guild, we have the 1.85 and the 1.9 thread open to everyone. There's a couple reasons as to why. So, first off, if I pop in to the 1.9 thread, just so you can get an idea, this thread moves so much all day long. Absolutely all day long. Those people that don't even have level 80 arcs are actively using this, not just to post great buildings, but also to call spots. So if we go traveling, okay, so here's an instance. The 3 people that you saw, including myself, down here, we all have level 80 arcs. Miss Almea right here does not. She has one within the teens, and yet you can see, based off of, and I'll kind of go in this, she took Mikey's Cape 5. Most likely, if we go and visit that spot was only a 10 forge point spot. So even though she has an arc in the teens, she only really lost probably maybe 2 or 3 forge points in order to take that spot. And yet, let's go see. We'll go visit. Let's go visit Mikey. Hi, Mikey. Let's go see. He's probably going to think I'm a goon. I am. Okay, so yeah, she took this spot for 10. And yet, she got probably at least maybe 5 or 6 BPs out of it. And she also got at least 450, probably maybe even an extra if we look over to that side, probably another 200 medals. So those are going towards her expansions. Those are going for her own embankment of blueprints, and yet she probably only lost maybe 3 forge points out of it. So having those people in-house, also, if you look up in third spot, Dalbosa, he doesn't even have a level 80 yet. I think he's at like a 70 something or other. Those individuals are making a huge profit back, and they're keeping that thread moving. If we only had it for our level 80 arcs, some of those lower spots might be harder to get called. So we see so much movement in this. Those same people also post great buildings too. And that's something absolutely make sure to reinforce to your guild members. If they are using the thread to post great buildings, especially if they have a level 80 arc, they should be calling spots too. It is not fair for a level 80 arc to only be posting and to never be calling. And that's something that I've really stressed with my guildmates. To be fair, you want to be doing both. Granted, for the lower people that don't have a level 80 arc, I don't care. They still, though, I see them take probably more of the smaller spots than even the level 80s do. So I see them hold their weight, absolutely, because they see the benefit of it. But make sure, hey, have a discussion. You guys, if you're going to use this thread, make sure you're doing both, because everything about a guild is support and family. So really instill that in your members. Along with that, because this 1.9 thread is so hoppin', you can actually probably see that I've bumped this twice now, actually. So our 1.85 thread is actually almost completely unused because everybody is using the 1.9 thread. So I actually just posed out to my guildmates this week, do we even want to keep this thread? And nobody has advocated for wanting it. So most likely it's going to get smashed here very quickly, just because everybody is in the 1.9, everybody, and it's awesome to see. So that's one of the reasons. I know a very long depth in discussion, but the second reason too, when I was itty bitty and my arc was tiny, I was very blessed to have a couple of players take me under their wing, and they grew my arc within probably a 2-month time span, maybe 2-3 months, just because they were taking it at 1.9 and also a little bit beyond that too at times, I think. But because I saw the benefit of them taking my spots and it moving so quickly and me not just sitting in standard swap threads, I wanted to give that same opportunity to my guild mates too. But that is something so within guild. If you want to keep the level 80s to the 1.9 and then 1.8 and 1.85 for everybody else, that is completely a discussion that you need to have with your leaders. But I've absolutely seen such growth in all of my members because of it. I like feeling like we're a family and being fair. I don't want to segregate anybody. And so there's just that part of me that wants it for everybody too. So yes, that's my rationale. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I need to do before we talk about creating this thread. Also really super important whenever you're going to create this thread, absolutely share this link. It doesn't have to be the HC, but even if you pull this part, share that link with your guildmates. They need to be able to understand how to use this calculator. Absolutely send them a link to my YouTube video on the 1.9 leveling thread, how to post, but also what this calculator means. I have seen so many of my members just almost kind of huge turnaround to when I've used words and words and words to describe, via typing, how to use the 1.9 thread. It just didn't make sense until I made that video for them, and I'll link it right up here. But the minute I did, I had so many more people understanding how to use that calculator and how to use the 1.9 thread. So absolutely share that video out. That's what it's there for, you guys. It's not for my benefit. It's absolutely for you, your guilds, your members. That's the point. I want everybody to really just succeed. So absolutely share that with them. Okay, let's see. Along with that though, I will post a description that you can post out to your guildmates. I'll put that in my little description drop box of this video of just how to use the 1.9 leveling thread and how you want people to post. Granted, you can change it however you want. It's just kind of my template that I've created with time. So absolutely take it, run with it. I don't care, but I will post it for you guys down below. So let's get into how we create this thread now, shall we? So let's see here. You go to create a message. If you have guild rights as a leader or have that notifier, you'll on mobile have a drop-down menu that you can either select certain neighbors, you can select friends, you can also select all guild mates, or there's also an other option. On computer, I have this really nifty add all guild mates. So I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to add my poor little guinea pigs. My leaders, and we're going to create a test 1.9 thread. So first, let's pretend I've just added all of my guildmates. Add all of that in. Be really mindful about how you label your thread. There is a reason why we have the in 2 days and the safe locks. Those are the requirements for the thread. So it never gets lost on what are the requirements of this thread because they're always in the title. So highly suggest that. It's been really nice just having that. So, and I'll go over posting too one more time, but there's the reason why I create this kind of Dropbox. Because as you're calling a spot, so right now, if I were to post that, it would mean that my spot 2 and 1 are available and they are safe. So based off of this calculator, you can see they're both safe. If I wanted to post later on, let's say somebody called my first spot, they would post my 2. And that means now that only my 2 is available, my second spot. The 1 has been called. Now let's say somebody else comes along and they want that spot, they'll post clear. So now before I can post out again, I would have to donate, self-donate my forge points to make sure, remember, you got to have that safe spot. But then I would post out that, hey, now my 3rd is ready to go. Something that I say to my guild members too, this is absolutely a personal preference. There are some guild members, and let's see if we can't go get an option, and they know I pick on them. Absolutely, they know this is my test. So you'll kind of see some of our guild mates are very, very brave, is what I say. I could say they are just, I don't have the bravery they do. I absolutely am like Leander. I just post a couple at a time because I don't want anything sniped. So let's go see if I can't find somebody who's, Mikey's a little bit brave. He posts his 3rd right away, and actually he got sniped earlier today, and it made me, well, actually maybe that was last night. GP, she's also very brave. So she'll self-donate. Let's see if I can't visit her. She'll self-donate enough to post 3, 4, and 5 right away. So luckily, we have so much movement in our thread that most of the time people are not sniped. It's very rare that we do see it happening, but sometimes it does, and sometimes it happens just within minutes. It is absolutely unbelievable to me. But let's say you prep enough to make all the way to spot 5 safe. That means the minute I do that, that 3rd spot can be sniped for a lot cheaper. So oh man, Mikey, can I go visit the one that you were on? I bet I can find his level. I'm sorry, Mikey, I'm picking on you. You're awesome. Thank you for everything you do. I'm gonna go visit his level to see if I can figure out where it was, because it happened earlier today. Here it is. Okay, so earlier today, he had posted out that 1 through 5 were open. I mean, total, he was brave. So he had put out not as many forge points as right here, but he had put out enough to make all the way to spot called safe right away. Well, this person right here is not in our guild. And if we go and peek, this spot really should be almost 100, and actually it is, 190 some points is what this spot should have been taken for. But because he prepped his great building enough to be safely locked until 5, he was sniped for 134. That was earlier today. I couldn't take his spot then. 4 and 5 were not safe anymore, and he had to donate more points to make those safe. So actually, as you can see, once that happened, oh, Mikey, you poor thing. Then he started just posting 1 or 2 at a time, or only going to 3 versus all the way to 5. So there's that kind of per player. I know there's one person who will, no matter what, he posts all 5 right away. You're going to know who you are. But he's very, very brave. I could never do it. I'm very in control. So I do my secured, and then I do 1 at a time after that. And that's what I highly suggest your members to do too. They absolutely do not have to. That's just me. Sorry, that was a random tangent. Okay, let's backtrack. So we've created this thread. Let me go back to that test thread just so that you can see. Oh, where are you, test thread? Oh, I've lost it. Let me restart myself. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's the first one. Look at that. Okay, so let's pretend you have all of your guild mates in here again. As a guild leader, you want to at least specify. So these are both my leaders. So absolutely, I would make them group admin. So let's say they needed to add somebody to the thread, delete somebody to the thread who left the guild. Somebody other than you should also have access to changing things in the thread. Let's say something happened to you. I mean, happened to me even. I would want Ambro and Griff to be able to do things within guild. So this is for kind of any thread, not just the 1.9 thread. make sure you have somebody else who also has thread rights as a group admin to be able to do stuff in the thread, but make sure you absolutely trust that person. You don't want anybody shady getting in on that stuff. No way. Okay, anyway, yeah, we'll save that for now, even though I'll delete this later. Also, another random thing, totally random, but let's say you're a guild member too. If you ever do have a thread and you want to smash it, don't just leave the thread. This is like my little like, oh my God, kind of scariness, but like what if you left that thread and suddenly you've left 20 people in that thread and they all like absolutely hate you and they're all gonna like badmouth you. Wouldn't that be horrible? I hope my guildmates do that. Oh my God, that'd be terrible. But anyway, that's like my fear. So before I ever smash a thread, I delete everybody out of it and then I delete myself. Totally random. I know. Okay. Anyway. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Post description, admin rights. Last thing, and then we're done. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're almost there. So let's pretend, let's see, what's one of my great buildings? My Haga. We'll just collect. Oh my gosh, my poor forge point bar. Okay, so let's pretend my Haga. I had people in spot 1, it's been taken. I've had people in 2, it's been taken. 3 is done. 4 is done. 5. Okay, perfect. My 5th spot. Let's pretend I'm using 1.9 thread entirely. I get to the 5th spot. What do you do? There's absolutely, nobody can call the spot and, donate forge points. So this is what we do in Guild. Once people in the 1.9 thread have taken the 4 spots, they will self-donate enough, and this is just on me. Of course, you can be a little bit more stingy too. I self-donate enough so that whoever takes this 5th spot only has to put in 1 forge point. They're not necessarily gaining any forge points, so I don't want them to feel like they're losing a lot, but I mean, they still gain 2 BPs. The medals are kind of low, but I do it just enough for that 1 forge point to be available to be taken without leveling it. So you do want to have, paired with your 1.9 thread, a guild news thread. Let me see if I can't find ours. And you can actually see what people do. Oh, that's our sticks thread. Where are you? Oh no. Okay, here we go. Okay, so our great building leveling news spots / locks. Absolutely have a thread. You can label it this. We label it guild. That means you cannot leave this thread, but you can absolutely see. So, Bubba, he absolutely uses the 1.9 thread. So once he got, and I can, let's go visit your CDM, my friend. Once you can see, he self-donated, we had a 55, a 29 take. Hey, that was me. And then you had a 10. Both of these spots did not have any forge point value, so he couldn't post them in the 1.9. So what he did is he self-donated enough so that this person is actually not in guild, but Almea is. So what he did is he linked his GB here, and you specifically want to say 1 forge point for a blueprint, and then once that person takes that spot, or maybe even like for me, I'll say 5th for 1 forge point. I might even say please don't level. And then what I have said, and this is something that is very important, and you can see everybody who takes that spot either needs to call it in this or say clear, meaning that this is once again off limits and nobody can drop forge points on there. Let's see if there's anything. So yeah, like 5th, arc spots 4, 5 available. She took 4, she took 5th, it's gone, done. So absolutely have a thread like that as well. For efficiency's sake, really how you set up the thread is however you want it to be. I've seen guilds that will post a link. They've said you can post a link of your great building and then the spots. I think that would just get a little bit congested. If we go and visit ours, I know I have a thread or a YouTube video specifically for this, but I mean, not having those great buildings makes it linked, makes it so that you can just move so efficiently. So you can see I took his spot number 1. He took his spot number 2. He added his AO to it. Then you visit a little bit down more. He took his 2. His 3 is still available. Then I took his 2. Now his 3 is the only thing that's available in thread. So just being really mindful about how you want to set it up. This has been really great for us. So that's been nice. Along with that too, there needs to be that kind of like family mentality within your guild. Everybody is watching out for each other. So like for instance, Den's great building needed to be unlocked. Absolutely. Put a message. Don't what I always tell guildies, do not let anything take over that thread. So if you have to add something, keep the list. This is the list, the almighty list. But then add what needs to happen. So he needed his to be unlocked. So that message was there. And then once it was there, it was taken out and gone until hopefully Den actually notices that he needs to unlock. Oh, look at that. They've been messaging. People have been messaging to him. So it's just that mentality. Everybody's watching out for each other. It's really, really neat. Even to show you guys too. Like for instance, JC, he does not, I think he has a level 40 some arc right now. He took his spot 4. People are absolutely using this all the time, everywhere. It's really great to just see the movement. The thing that you have to be really mindful about is when things get congested. There was one earlier that happened like this. You have all of these, you have to really tell people, really watch the thread. If you're using the 1.9, you have to drop those forge points right away. So yeah, you can cycle and do your CF. I say don't, not unless it's a very low spot. You just want to get the forge points out there because this thread can really move very quickly. Hopefully that's really helpful. Like I said, Intellicus, if you want me to create a profile, I will absolutely come over to your domain and I will happily help out creating a 1.9 thread. I will do that in anybody. Just let me know. I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys. I know it was kind of long, but you rock. All right.